My name is Odie Hawkins, and you just said it yourself. Could you tell me again, Odie Hawkins? My name is Odie Hawkins, and we're here to give you a few more moments in time. We've had we had to skip a week because of the tragic events in Nashville. But like most people, we've decided we had to continue going on. And having said that, as they say, I'm going to bring you back to an acquaintanceship with a character that I've fallen in love with, I think. His name is Likka Sto Rufus. Likka Sto's real name is, so I've got it somewhere here. I've known him so long as Likka Sto Rufus, I can barely remember his government name. He is a Viet Nam vet and gone through a whole bunch of things. As I've said in earlier videos, I have decided this year to read short things. Last year I read excerpts from books, and I got a good response from those things, but I would prefer to take this year to read shorter things. And I have a lot of things to read. So, as my friend Jean Boland used to say, forward. I call this the Likka Sto Rufus Chronicles 12 and number 4. I'm reading number 12 first. You give you some idea of what kind of guy this is. All right, I was discharged in 1968. A zillion years ago, with all kind of problems, post-traumatic stress disorders, drug addictions, malaria, fungal infections, severe hearing loss in both ears, and one leg shorter than the other one. I think it's my left one. Shorter than the other one from these operations I had to deal with, the damage that I suffered from stepping on a landmine. I was messed up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I have to drink that every now and then because my throat gets real dry. Okay. With all these service disconnected disabilities, I filed for compensation. That became a real headache right away. First off, somebody sent me a letter saying that I would be entitled to compensation. I wouldn't be. They said I wouldn't be entitled to compensation for pre-existing conditions. Pre-existing conditions. Were they trying to tell them that my left leg was 2 inches shorter than my right leg when I was drafted? That I couldn't hear too good out of both ears before I was drafted? That I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder before I was drafted? I asked for the evaluation. That's what they call it. Well, it didn't take too long for them to schedule me for the evaluation. That did it. And then many months later, I got the results of the evaluations. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, just let me say this. What they were saying was that I was entitled to was way too low. You know what I'm saying? That's what they said. It was way too low. So I appealed the evaluation decision. I didn't hear anything from anybody for months and months. Needless to say, I started getting a little antsy after a while. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I was basically living on the streets. I had given up my heroin habit and started in on crack. That's what somebody is cheaper. Mm. Now I know that heroin, crack, and liquor is definitely bad for your health. But I have to say this, out of the three, liquor is probably the best bet because it allows you to get some sleep. Mm-hmm. You can get a good nod off heroin, but you're out there day and night constantly trying to get the coin for the next fix. So same way with crack, keeps you awake. But let me stay on the track here. After I didn't hear from the VA for about a year, I got some help from one of these veterans aid groups. They're great. They work for the veterans. And all right, they get on the case and notify me about 3 months later that the VA had lost my evaluation appeal paperwork. As a matter of fact, they had lost all of my paperwork, including the original evaluation stuff. Well, what could I do? Seems that I had no choice but to get back on the stick. And that's exactly what I did. Just to make sure I wouldn't be all flustered and mad when I went in to get the evaluations, I wouldn't do no drugs or drink nary a drop of nothing for a whole day before my appointments. That felt real weird to be completely sober for a whole day. It's a long time. On the honest to God level, I would have to say that I have a real love-hate number going on with the VA. Sometimes it's a honeymoon, sometimes it's a nightmare. On the honeymoon level, especially now, after those crazy brothers showed up at the VA with the AKs and bandoliers, raped across the shoulders and threatened to shoot the place up. That happened a few years back. On the honeymoon level, I could go to the ER section at the local VA and have somebody doing something for me within an hour. In the bad old days, I might have waited 2 or 3 hours to have somebody take my temperature. And we don't want to talk about actual treatment paperwork. I don't know why, but that paperwork used to create a lot of problems. I don't really know what made the change happen, but I can tell you that somebody did something. I don't have to wait 3 hours to get my temperature taken. Or spend a half day waiting to see a doctor. You don't have to do that no more. Think it has something to do with Obama. Now, if they would speed this evaluation thing up a bit, I would be very, very happy. Future plans? Well, first off, no matter what happens, I know I got to go somewhere and detox. Rehabilitate. Whatever you want to call it. Because I don't want to drink my life away or smoke it away. We got a program at the VA. Maybe I'll get into that next week. Hey, Irene! Irene!
Yes?
Would you? That's all right. I'll talk to you when you get back. I'll talk to you when you get back.
Okay.
All right. You know, Irene. That's a story there. Okay. That's the Chronicles 12.
Okay.
I'm not going to take us to Chronicles 4.
Let's cut and start into Chronicle 4.
Well, I'm chronicling his life.
Okay.
In a series of vignettes.
So do you want this to be 2 posts or not? Okay, you can do it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it like that.
Okay.
This one is about Rufus and his set.
Okay.
Well, I think I'd rather do this one, number 4. I did say 4.
Yeah.
Likka Sto Rufus, in his own unique way, concerns about social issues. Number 1, as a Viet Nam vet, the conversation between the way he was treated and the way the Iraqi Afghanistan vets are treated. Still ain't perfect, but at least ain't nobody trying to pretend they don't exist, that we didn't go to war for this country. 2, his battle ongoing with drug, alcohol addiction, how it caused him to lose his wife, his children, his home, basically his life. I'll tell anybody, leave that quack alone. I didn't take but 1 hit on the pipe, and I was hooked for 10 years. 10 long years. I'm still fighting off that yen for a good hit to this very day. Yeah, I fought the crack demon off. All I got to do is stop smoking these cigarettes. You got to picture the scene. I call it Meet the Mess. Not on TV, but it could be.
Meet the Mess, okay.
Likka Sto Rufus, Sweet Wine Willie, Slobber Lips Sally, Perdido the Dope Fiend, and a couple of others do a Meet the Mess roundtable type discussion. It takes place on milk crates behind the local liquor store, where we get a little bit tipsy. Likka Sto Rufus is usually the moderator. That's me.
Gotcha.
It's kind of mixed up, but I got it straight down in my own mind.
Yes, I like the way Odie Hawkins blends into Liquor Store.
You see how I am?
It's a little schizoid here, but go ahead.
That's the way it goes on.
Okay.
This is Meet the Mess.
All right.
I think you have gotten completely off the subject that we were discussing, Sweet Wine. I don't think so. It just seems like to me that anytime one of us comes up with something you don't agree with, it's off the subject that we're discussing. Slobber Lips Sally. Y'all know I don't agree with a whole lot of stuff that Wine be saying, but I got to go with him on this one. That's one of your big false liquor store. You want everybody to agree with you with what you talk about. Liquor store. Well, why shouldn't you agree with me if I know what I'm talking about? Perdido the Dope Fiend. Oh, I get it. You think we should all agree with you just because you say you know what you're talking about. Is that what you're saying? No, Perdido, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we should stay on whatever subject we have agreed to discuss. That's all I'm saying. Fancy man, the toothless man. So what you're going to argue with? So who can argue with that? If we talk about something, that's what we are talking about. That's been what the problem been in the United Nations for years. Slobber Lips Sally is a little bit more articulate than she was the last time she spoke. Fancy, we ain't talking about no United Nations. Those people get together, they got together about 200 years ago just to talk. That's what the United Nations was established to do. The narrator, Liquor Store. You wrong about that, Slobber. He called her close so he can call her Slobber.
Okay.
You don't have to call her last name if you don't want to.
Slobber Lips, okay, gotcha.
You wrong about that, Slobber. They didn't get established 200 years ago, number one. Sweet Wine Willie, he's vehement about that. See? See what I'm saying? The minute you don't agree with Liquor Store, he'll go off on you. Now just cause Sally didn't agree with him about the United Nations, he's gonna say she's wrong about everything. You wrong, Sweet Willie. I mean, Sweet Wine. You wrong as two left shoes. All I was saying, I'll say it again loud and clear, is that we ought to stay on the subject we agreed to discuss. So, what was that, Liquor Store? Subject was whether or not we, us, colored folks, Negroes, blacks, African Americans were suffering from post-traumatic slave stress disorder. Sweet Wine, Willie, Slobber Lips Sally, Perdido the Dope Fiend, and Fancy Dams, the Toothless Man register a collective look of relief. Sweet Wine Willie said it. Oh, Liquor Store? Ain't no reasonable person could disagree with that. That's what the TV boys would call a no-brainer. So that's that. That's all I'm saying. Y'all want to get another one? The members dig down into their pockets for another cheap bottle of wine. Perdido the Dope Fiend trips away from the collective of winos. Hey, y'all, keep on keeping on. I got to run over here to see these people about this thing, you know. They watch him walk off feeling sorry for their dope fiend friend. His liquor stores read on social issues of the moment. This is a monologue, very short, pretty to the point. No need to be lying about it. I think about it a whole bunch of times when I got back to the world. That's what we used to call America when I was in Nam. Suicide seemed to be the best way to deal with all of the problems I was faced with. I was 24 years old and had so much stuff wrong in my life, it was unreal. Unreal, Zola, I'm telling you.
I believe.
I know you know. I had been wounded. My left leg is 2 inches shorter than my right leg from stepping on a landmine. I couldn't find a job because I didn't have any civilian job skills. The only thing I've been doing on a regular basis for the previous 3 years was killing people. You know, what kind of resume you gonna make? What did you do for 3? I shot people. Shot them dead as I could. I could pretty much say that, but I won't. My military MO was sniper first class. I could pop a sucker's head off of 500 yards, but who wants to hire somebody to kill people these days? The mafia is even a closed shop. I think you have to be Italian to get a hitman slot in that organization. That's terrible to discriminate like that. You ought to be able to get a job as a hitman anywhere. So there I was, up Doo-Doo Creek without a paddle. Clinical depression. It took a bit of time to figure that one out. I just thought I was coming down from smoking all that super strong Thai stick we used to smoke in Nam. The post-traumatic stress disorder, I had all kinds of symptoms, but it took a while for them to label a problem. I was constantly ducking and dodging when I heard loud noises, especially at night. I think it had something to do with being an ex-sniper. I knew that the enemy had snipers too because I saw a lot of guys with their heads blown off. One of my best friends sitting right next to me taking a smoke break got the front of his head blown off by a sniper. It took him about 15 minutes to die. All the while, he was trying to push his brain back up in his head. Hard to describe what goes through you when you see a friend's brain spilling out of his head. Heroin addiction. I came back to the world with a serious yearning for heroin. But I didn't see it was an addiction. It was just something I was doing on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like drinking. As weird as it may sound, I didn't really see myself as an addict till I hit that crack pipe. Now that was a real show enough addiction. No denying that. I was a thoroughbred, bona fide dope fiend for 10 long years when I got back to the world. And I tell the absolute God, honest to the truth, I'm still not that sure I have kicked the habit. I've been clean and sober for 6 months now. That's when I relapsed the last time. I'll tell anybody that crack pipe is a booty kicker. Now we got fentanyl. Ooh. Disease. I got some kind of weird fungus growing up between my legs, jungle rot or something. I don't know what it is. They don't know what it is. The VA gives me some kind of cream to put on, but it's still there, except when it's not as bad as it used to be. I've been popping about 15 pills a day for years for different things: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, ulcers, name it. Suicide was an option. That was the way I looked at it for a long time. Suicide would take care of my pain. I wouldn't have to think about one of my legs being shorter than the other one. I could forget all of the bad memories I had, the thoughts about all of the people I have murdered, all of the friends I had seen blown apart. Suicide would stop these headaches I have on both sides of my head sometimes. It would stop this jungle rock from eating my nuts up. I would be at peace. So Why didn't I do it? Why haven't I done it? I can give it to you in 2 words. Reggie Burroughs. Reggie is one of these slick ass psycho constants they have at the VA. He was the one they put on me when I confessed to one of the doctors at the VA that I was going to take my life. Before you do that, Mr. Stevenson, why don't you have a little chat with one of our counselors? It didn't take but a hot minute for Dr. What's-his-name to leave the room, and in comes Reggie. Reggie's a big dude, about 6'2" or so. Muscles everywhere. You think a man could have muscles. Quiet as a bat. Got a big old Siberian Husky eye dog. This is the 3rd one I've had in my life, he tell me. And with luck and the Lord on my side, I'll have 3 more before I die. It gives you some idea of the kind of dude Reggie is. We had a long talk the first time we met about a whole bunch of stuff. It wasn't like he was counseling me at all. We just talked. He had lost his sight in Vietnam. We talked about that. We talked about our feelings as black men being in Vietnam, killing little brown men for the big white man. We talked about little things, big things, and sometimes when I was coming to see him about 3 times a week, we hardly talked at all. I would just sit in the chair across from him. On one occasion, we had just been sitting there for about a half an hour when I heard him snoring with his head back, his eyes hidden by his shades. Reggie, you sleep, man? No, I'm just checking my ideas for holes. Why? He's a funny guy. He can make you laugh and he can make you cry. But no more than anything else, he can make you feel that life is precious, that life is worth living. But after about 3 months, he had washed my brain clean of the thoughts of suicide. Think about it this way, dude. If you're dead, you won't have another chance to eat your mama's fried chicken again. Think about that.
Incentive.
But I told you my mama died 10 years ago. He didn't miss a beat. So if you're dead, you won't have another chance to have the memory of your eating your mama's fried chicken again.
There you go.
That was the way he did it. He just calmed me away from the idea of killing myself. Just think hard on it, dude. Dead people can't breathe. You know what I'm saying?
As far as we know, yeah.
I hope that these dudes coming back here from Afghanistan or wherever will be lucky enough to find a Reggie Burroughs in their lives. And that's the end of 2 readings of Likka Sto Rufus, Likka Sto Rufus Chronicles, number 4 and number 12. We will get back to Likka Sto Rufus and associated things, I guess, tomorrow.
Fantastic. It's interesting, the story about Reggie, this
Reggie
blind.
Burroughs, yeah.
You know, that it's amazing how inspiring, you know, blind people can be, you know, like, you know, my favorite, Andrea Bocelli.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that,
yeah.
you know, just hearing him sing and seeing him ride a horse through Central Park, you know, I mean, or ride on a horse, you know, seeing, I'm scared of horses.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, but,
yeah, I mean, they serve to do things in our lives that are hard to talk about. You can kind of comicalize them, but at the end of the day, there's something very, very deep. We have the memory. I think probably we're the only 2 people who watch television in America who saw the program with the Brazilian ballerina, young woman about 15 years old, who was born with no arms, who was dancing ballet. I mean,
well, you know, it's called Who is Handicapped. We who have our faculties, and or those who are born with marching to a different drummer.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Or in her case, dancing different to a different music.
I see.
Okay.
Well, indeed.
That's it for the moment.
Thank you very much.
And
Black Authors Do Matter. Your website.
Oh, yeah, you see.
Yes, indeed. The young ladies that present that program on internet is wonderful. And your website is www.odiehawkins.com. And just for people's interest, Google Odie Hawkins. O-D-I-E. Hawkins is not pronounced any other way. It's not Adi, it's Odie. And with that, we certainly do look forward to another moment in time.
You'll have it soon.
All right, thank you very much.
He's looking at you.
He's looking at you, kid.
Yeah, sure. Just less than a half an hour.